We are live. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a nice night so far. Uh, so I know some people like to complain and whine. Rumble is getting set up. It just didn't want to start right away. So we're finishing that. Let us spit up here. Let's see here. There we go. All right, we're live on Rumble as well. So we are live on Facebook, or we're live on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble tonight. Kurt, hey, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Who got first tonight? David Davidson. Hit that like button. Yes, always hit that like button. So yeah, there's a lot actually to talk about tonight, believe it or not. Yes, Britney Griner. Congratulations. You get to go home. Uh, while it's good you're going home, I think the uh kind of the reasons and things surrounding it. Yeah, but hey, at least she gets to go home. I think that's one of the big things there. Even if you don't like her, somebody getting out of Russian custody is always generally a good idea and something to be happy about. Has he gotten his Twitter account back yet? No, I have not. Mine is still, I'm not that important yet. Uh, yes, they unbanned a ton of people on Twitter. Daddy Elon is working his way through the gulag. So someday, maybe. Track golfer, how you doing? Hope my week has been solid. It's been very busy, and I know, guys, I mentioned this before. It's probably going to be till next week till I'm completely done with what I'm involved with. So this is pretty much the only thing you're going to see from me. And then next Thursday, probably just one more stream. And then after that, we'll be back to doing streams. We'll be back to dropping videos. I haven't had time. Today was horrible. Okay. Jim, we'll get to this. That's a good question. A-Dubs, this is a good question as well, but we'll get to that. So we're gonna wait a couple more minutes. If you're new, guys, I generally wait about 5 minutes to let everybody in, and then we get started. But I hope everybody else has had a really good week. I know tomorrow's Friday, so for a lot of people started the weekend. It's almost Christmas time. I mean, it's crazy. We are already at December 8th. I can't believe it myself. So we are. What were you guys talking about? Oh, the OnlyFans. Yeah, she got her bond denied. Yeah, that's not too surprising. Not too surprising. I mean, it is a murder, so it's generally hard to get out of jail on those. Okay. What do I have open here? We'll just double check the Twitter in case Elon knew that there was a lot of case publicity here. He changed his mind. Said, "Oh, we got to get Sean on now, on tonight now." Let's see if it changed. Okay. Did I get it back? Nope, still suspended. Womp womp womp. Oh well, there's always another day. The gay web designer oral arguments. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff out there. And we'll be going forward after next week, starting with the new year. There's a couple different things we're going to try to do. Um, but yes, I know what you're talking about, Graham. That is interesting. Zach is saying to Kurt, "You can't use lowercase letters here. We only type in caps in this chat." Oh. Parallax saying, have you thought about claiming you're trans to get your Twitter back?" I mean, if it would help, I mean, maybe, maybe. Mimi saying, "Can you not cover the Twitter files since you're suspended?" No, I mean, here's the thing with the Twitter files, guys. Is it is there anything there we didn't actually think existed to start with? That's, I think, the first thing to think about. The government was doing what Twitter wanted. If you had enough power, you could go into Twitter and get what you wanted. If you had enough money, you could get verified. And people on Twitter are being corrupt and using verification as a way to enforce things, but also people on the side were grifting. Make like up to, depending on who you ran into, they were charging like $15,000 to get your verification. Um, but it's all the things we generally suspected. Now, I do think it's hilarious when it comes to the idea of, the allegations around the Hunter Biden laptop, and it turns out that the Trump administration was also going to Twitter and telling them to take things down. Now, I've seen people saying, "Oh, well, guess who was president in 2020?" Yes, and that should upset you that the presidential administration was going to Twitter saying, "Take this stuff down. You really should do that." That's absolutely mind-blowing that that would happen. I mean, for people talking about like, "Oh my god, it's like Hitler stuff." That's the bad stuff. When the government could silence the press like that. So yes, even a regular political campaign doing that, that's awful too. So the whole thing is horrible, but it's not. We already knew this was happening. We knew, and they knew that we knew, and they still did it anyway. So that's kind of how I feel about it. It sounds like James Baker, Twitter's former general counsel, probably deleted a lot of things and sanitized a lot of things. I know Elon said he's releasing a ton of stuff. I haven't had a chance to review it tonight, but I mean, I can't imagine there's anything super huge down there anymore at this point. I mean, is there anything you guys didn't really think was happening? That the government wasn't colluding or they weren't forcing things to happen? And I'm not saying that to poo-poo the idea we should read it. We should read how these things happen because it does seem like it came from very innocuous beginnings. We also talked about it before with DHS having these backdoors into Facebook, which still exist. They should all be stopped. But once again, did we not, with especially last week's one, I thought, hey, we need to look into it, but nothing new. They just confirmed everything we already knew. So it's like Wikipedia. Yeah. Yes. The feds likely knew who Lando was. He surely had to been on. Oh yeah, sure, sure. Let's see what else is here. Pike is saying the Twitter files have been a nothing burger so far for me, but might have been a wake up for some normies. Hopefully, hopefully. It would be nice to see some of these people called in to deal with answer for what they've been doing and why they thought some of this stuff was a good idea. But Jeff is saying we have receipts. Yeah, but the receipts are for what? I mean, we already knew these guys were scumbags, and generally pieces of crap. So No crimes have been committed. So I don't know what this gets us. So that's like I said, I'm not trying to poop on it, but what are we getting at? What's the mileage out of this? What do we get from this? How does it help us? And I don't really think it does. And yes, Chaucerian fraud is correct. Every record altered, rewritten, every crime erased. Yes. So that's how I feel, and I don't mean to black pill everybody on that. Uh, KTB says, isn't lying to Congress illegal? It is, but that's a crime for little people. Big people never get in trouble for that. Big people never ever get in trouble for that. Jeff is saying lawsuits. There might be some lawsuits, but once again, these are the same courts who run to Section 230 and basically give that as a doctrine that companies can do whatever they want and claim Section 230 as a protection. So we'll see where this goes. Yes, Chaucerian fraud, you're right. If you lie to Congress at the behest of the establishment, it's de facto legal. Yes, unofficially, but yes, that is true. So I guess we'll move on to the big story of the day. Britney Griner. She does get to come home, and you may not, like I said, you may not like her, you may not like her politics, but at the end of the day, she is a U.S. citizen, and it is great to see U.S. citizens come home, even if they were morons, even if they did do dumb stuff. Um, there's never. It's always good. It's always good. So obviously, if you guys are not aware, this is Brittany Griner over here in the red shirt. She got caught with, vape pens full of weed and I think some other marijuana related drugs. Got a couple years in Russian prison for it. And I know we talked about this before. When you are dealing with foreign countries, don't take drugs to foreign countries. It's never a good idea. Most places don't have the same rules we do. Some countries, drug smuggling is a capital offense, meaning you get killed for it. And also, when you go to these countries, you deal with their legal systems. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I would not trust the Russian legal system to give me a fair shake. So I'm going to do everything I can to avoid running into it. Same thing for every other legal system in this world. I would not trust them. So, I guess just hopefully she learned a lesson here. I doubt she did. Now, she was traded for this guy here, Victor Bout. Victor Bout, they call him the Merchant of Death. If you guys have seen The Lord of War, that's who the movie was written about. He was a prolific arms trafficker throughout the 80s and 90s into the 2000s and supplied things all over the world. And they call him the Merchant of Death, but as the movie does point out, as the movie points out, he did stuff for everybody, especially us. He did a lot of things at the behest of the US government for conflicts the US government was sponsoring or wanted to support. So he wasn't just like a straight up bad guy. He had his purpose, he had his role. Um okay, Parallax, we're holding on to that one. So so what happened? Well, it was a prisoner transfer. Now, can we argue this was a a prisoner of war transfer? Obviously not. But tensions between the United States and Russia are not very good. Everything going on with Ukraine, just in general, things aren't very good. So there was a prisoner swap. There was a release, and that happened. So now Brittany is already well on her way home. And Victor Bout is well on his way. I think they're both home by now, or at least Victor Bout's in Russia and Britney Griner's almost home. Now we do know that there was another person, guy named Paul Whelan, who's still sitting in Russian custody. Um, there were some concerns and ideas that there was going to be a 2-for-1 swap, but apparently the Russians said you get to choose one, only one. Now, this is interesting, and there is a picture out there. There's footage of it, but TMZ is gonna probably copy strike and be dicks. So I will share with you guys the picture. I do think this picture is hilarious just to show. That's Brittany Griner in the red jacket. Oh, that is Brittany Griner in the jacket, in the red jacket. And just look how much taller she is than everybody. Holy cow! I mean, damn. You can make that is just insane size difference. I mean, that is I just thought that was it was very interesting to see that. So on this picture, there's this is Victor Bout. He's been serving 9 years. He's serving a 25-year sentence. He was supposedly aiding terrorism and securing weapons that were going to be used allegedly against DEA agents. Who knows if that's true or not? Once again, it's the federal government. Your mileage may vary. But there's Victor Bout. This is Brittany. This is at an airport in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. This is just straight out of the Cold War and spy novels, a literal prisoner swap. You cross paths, you walk across the tarmac, and you go your separate ways. If you guys seen that Tom Hanks movie, The Bridge of Spies, this happened all the time in the Cold War. In North Korea, it happens. They have a bridge where they do the prisoner exchanges. This is not a comment at all. I think it's interesting because this is the stuff usually of legend and history. But yes, they did go their separate ways. So a couple people do have some comments here. Jim is saying, by the way, hi Jim. Maybe you can explain to me exactly how the U.S. had the right to arrest Bout in the first place, since he was never subject to U.S. jurisdiction. Because the U.S. government did it. That's why. I mean, they claim they have jurisdiction over a lot of things. That's why. Because they have more guns than. Well, actually, this is one of the few times Victor Bout had more guns than they do, but the U.S. government had more people willing to shoot him than the other way around. AW, you were saying, why would the U.S. release the arms dealer? They don't like the competition. He did a lot of work on behalf of the United States. Like I said, if you watch Lord of War, there's those when he says you're going to have that colonel come in, he's going to tell you did a great job, but they're going to have to let me go. That colonel is supposed to be Oliver North, the man behind Iran Contra. So that was a very just to point out he had friends in high places because he did help the U.S. government when their foreign policy by supporting these events. Parallax says this is so mean. The only NBA WNBA trade anyone's ever heard of. Very true. Very true. Probably the only time a WNBA trade made the front page of the news. Also, Alpha Fox Adams saying, "What up, Mister No Pro Tunk Esquire?" Yep. What up, Playboy? Yeah. If you guys have been following Chili DeCastro, he's having a rough time trying to figure out how to be an attorney. It's very hilarious to watch. Also, Chili, I'm still waiting on that copyright lawsuit. Come on, bro. Quit blue balling me. Let's get this going. There'll be a video about that, by the way, guys. Chili tried to fuck around and, well, he found out a little bit already. Waxing Miracle says legal mindset can't jump. Now that would be funny to watch him and Brittany try to. Ball out. Um, Zero Fox says the merchant of layups. Oh, oh no, 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 no. Oh, I mean that's one thing I love about you guys. You guys are sharp, super fucking sharp, very edgy. So, anyways, congratulations, Brittany. You get to come home. Hopefully you kind of learned, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't go screw around outside the United States, but mm, who knows? Anyway, you get to come home. I'm sure your family is thrilled. Paul Whalen's family, I know they were told beforehand that she got released. Yeah, hopefully he gets to come home at some point too, but it sounds like that's not a priority with the Biden administration. And we also don't have any other former Soviet arms dealers in custody. So I'm sure he's going to be sitting a while longer. Jim is saying, I think the CIA just wanted him out of the way before they opened up the Libya gun market and sold off the Gaddafi weapon arsenal. Very well could be, because also, if you guys do remember what happened, the Libyan arms from the Gaddafi regime were used to supply a new group in the 2012 timeframe. Uh, Part of a CIA organization or operation called Timber Sycamore. They went to a place called Syria to a group called ISIS. Now, they weren't known as ISIS right then and there, but yes, we took arms from Libya and gave them to ISIS. So there's a little bit there. Yes, Danielle. Hi, Danielle. How are you doing? I know you always say hello when you see me around. So hello when I'm in the other chats. But yes, the Syrian rebels, the moderate rebels. Yes, the moderate jihadist. I guess the moderate jihadist will chop your head off with a sharper machete versus a duller one. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's what separates the moderate elements from the extreme elements. Yes, Patty is correct. John Toomer McGee invented ISIS. Yes, he did. He helped. Yes. So, track golfer saying, pretty sure we trained him too. Certainly, we probably. Yeah, I mean, we usually are behind most of the fuck ups in the world. So, we probably did at some point, maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Danielle says, oh, the moderate ones only behead a few days a week. Yes, that is. Oh, Free Flyer 1978 for $10. Thank you. Saying the State Department still has a contract teacher locked up for weed in Russia. He had been in prison longer than Griner. Mark Fogel. You know what? Let's. Mark Fogel. Who's this guy? Oh, wow. Holy cow. Oh, okay. You know what? We'll talk about this real quick. I think this is. Thank you, Free Flyer. This is important. Let's see here. So, Mark Fogel is a teacher, and he's, well, it looks like from the Pittsburgh area. So, this looks like this is Mark Fogel here. He was obviously flying into Russia. And it's from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Uh, he's serving a 14-year sentence after being arrested with medical marijuana as luggage, which he was using after a spine surgery. Oh, jeez. Like, I get it. He had medical marijuana cards, but remember, that's not legal in Russia. When you're going somewhere, you have to know the laws of where you're going. For example, if I take my guns with me in my car, I don't drive to the state of New York. I won't drive to the state of California. You gotta know the law of where you're going because it's just insane. And they're probably maybe he probably could have had prescriptions and been okay, but bringing weed, I think, was a stupid idea. Now, is it right that he's doing 14 years in prison for some weed? No. Is he getting that treatment because he's an American? Yes. But that is drug smuggling, and you're drug smuggling into Russia. Not the best combination of facts there. So let me see here. Um, he's 61 years old. He's wrongfully detained. You know, and I would agree. It sucks, but um, come on, man. That's yeah. So he's been detained. Let's see here. Um, he's been detained since August of 2021. Apparently, he's serving 14 years for possessing 17 grams, um, just over half an ounce. Which, yeah, if you uh, 14 years for a half ounce. Um, I guess for those of you who don't partake or don't have a lot of experience around the devil's lettuce or the hippie cabbage, that's not very much. But it's within the sentencing range for their laws, it appears. So it sounds like it's overkill, sure. And yes, is it really rough? He's 61 years old and he's doing 14 years. Yes. Now, here's the thing. In America, if you're 61 and you're doing 14 years, there's a very good chance that's a life sentence. In a Russian prison, holy cow. Yeah, that's very much likely that guy's not getting out alive. So I do hope this guy gets out. I hope he gets released. But once again, this is a boneheaded move. What did you think was going to happen? So once again, guys, don't take drugs abroad. You're better off trying to score them wherever you're going, and I don't think you should even do that. Follow the laws of where you're going because then you don't have to worry about getting in trouble. Um, the the devil sting finger. We're talking. People are Charles Watts saying 28 grams to an ounce. Don't ask how. Oh, we're getting into drug dealer math. Oh, Patty saying there's a federal law that protects the right to trial firearms. Yeah, the Firearms Owners Protection Act, but I still wouldn't risk it. Like if I'm driving to California to go see some friends, that doesn't cover me. It only covers transfer, like crossing through the state, not for the destination. And even then, there's states I would never cross through. Like I would never go through the state of Wisconsin, even if you paid me to. Um, the smart money is to avoid potential problems. So, Darcy's saying I have a pound in front of me. That's crazy. Yeah. Oof. That would be crazy. That'd be interesting. If this was Southeast Asia, she would probably be dead. If you're talking about Britney, maybe. I know that's generally for the more serious stuff. Free flyer again. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. They should know the laws and ignorance is not an excuse, but first in, first out. Yeah, I don't understand why the Biden administration, you're dealing with the Russians. This is part of negotiation. They really need Victor Bout. They really want him back. He's one of, he's got a lot of friends in high places. Brittany Griner is important too, but I feel like you could do a better negotiation. This is almost like Bo Bergdahl, the guy who went AWOL and deserted to join the Taliban. We got him back in exchange for a bunch of Taliban officials. One guy for a bunch of them. I just feel like maybe they could have been negotiated better, but I agree. Get a bunch of people out. So it's a crying shame says, hashtag free the weed. Yes, that would be correct. That would be the right way to do this. But, you know, there's freeing the weed here, then there's freeing the weed everywhere else. And I don't know about that. All right. So let's move on. But thank you, Free Flyer. That was pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. Hopefully Mark Fogel gets out as well, because that would really, yeah, that's not a good time. And also, don't go to countries that are having very major political beefs with the United States. Now, the problem is a lot of countries have political beefs with the United States. So just be careful about where you're going to break the law if you're going to break the law at all. And I still think you shouldn't go break the law. No, I know this is something that Jeff over on Legal Vices has been covering. It's the Border Patrol serial killer case. I was just going to touch on it. Juan David Ortiz. So, from what I understand, it was actually a very interesting trial. He was convicted, and let's- he was facing a couple of counts of murder. So, for 12 days in 2018, he was driving through Laredo, picking up women and murdering them. So, he was found by jury unanimously guilty of capital murder. I don't know why they have to say unanimously because you have to have unanimous verdicts now. Supreme Court said, yeah, we're not playing that split verdict stuff. We're not playing that game anymore. He was not subject to the death penalty, but because of that, if you're charged with capital murder and you're not getting the death penalty in Texas, automatic life sentence. So he's going away forever. And yes, there were some interesting things that happened here, and I didn't get to see this, but I heard about it. That a doctor was on the stand and went to go treat a fainting juror. There was a jailhouse phone call that really made Ortiz look really, really bad. So yeah, it wasn't a good thing. Was not a good thing there. Uh, so it was 8 women and 4 men. They took 5 hours to reach their verdict, and he was automatically sentenced to life in prison without parole. He can appeal the decision. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. I didn't get to see the sentencing at all or what they talked about. But yes, he did pick up a couple of women, Melissa Ramirez, Claudine Loera, Giselda Hernandez, and Janelle Ortiz. Um, he picked up, and this is generally how a lot of serial killers work. They pick up people who are marginalized, minimized in society. If you kill them, nobody's going to notice, and if they disappear, well, that's what happens when you do stuff. If you're on the street or you're involved in drugs, so all the women were known to be sex workers who had a drug addiction, and yeah, that's a way you can make sure stuff like that happens, and that's one of the reasons that hooking and doing drugs is a bad idea. So I'm sure he'll appeal. I'm sure it's probably going to get sustained. But that was, I thought, a uh, interesting case. It's too bad I couldn't cover it, but I know from what I heard, Jeff did a really good job. So if you guys do want to watch and you haven't seen it yet, it's over on Legal Vice's channel. He's been covering it every day. Uh, Patty letter saying, "Don't go anywhere, stay home." Okay, well, I don't know about that. Jim, you're saying, could you talk about the Aaron Dean trial out of Texas? The cop who shot the woman through the window was pointing the laser at the cop. The prosecutors have no case whatsoever. I have not watched the trial, but I remember when the shooting happened. Um, I think it's I think it's bullshit that he shot this woman. You know, he goes prowling through the backyard like a burglar shining his flashlight around, not saying he's the police. And then he finally comes by a window where somebody thinks somebody's prowling out back. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to grab a gun. Well, they have a gun. And Aaron Dean goes, "Oh my God," gets all scared. "Officer safety." Bam, bam, bam. No, sorry. You didn't tell everybody you were a cop. You're back there acting like a burglar. No, he should not. Thank God he's not a cop anymore. But no, I don't feel bad for him. You go act, you kill someone. He wrongfully killed that woman. So I think it sucks the prosecution doesn't have a very good case. But that's yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I think that was a non-righteous shooting by Aaron Dean, and you know I I I think he should stand trial for it. The amateur iconoclast says he uses government issued. This is for one RTs. Uses government issued service weapon. I mean, why not? I mean, why not? If you're already got you got a free gun, may as well use it. And it wouldn't be the first time government weapons, injure innocent people. Ew. Stabby McStabwood says, "I'm late and gay for everything tonight. What did I miss? Everything. You missed everything, bro." We're actually wrapping up. Is this lawful law for $5? Says, "Have you looked at the unsealed charging documents in the Delphi murder case at all? If so, the thoughts." Yes. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Yes. We looked at them last week. Actually, we looked at them last week quite a bit during the live stream last week. It's do not talk to the cops and you can't get charged. If you don't talk, there's a good chance you'll walk. But that guy opened his mouth. "Yeah, I was in the area. Yeah, I was dressed like that. Yeah, I got a gun in the same caliber." I mean, he completely incriminated himself there, even if it was harmless and not intentional. He told them everything. So, yes, don't be a dumbass with the police and shut up. Those are my thoughts. Without any of that, they would have no ability to arrest him in any way. But he talked. So they have the grounds to arrest him. And there's enough there that you could probably get an emotional jury to convict him on all that. It's still flimsy evidence, but geez, he gave the police a big, big helping hand there. Brent said that guy, and just talking about Ortiz, had zero reaction during the verdict and victim impact statements. Well, once you're going away forever, it's not like you can. He's probably a psychopath anyway, but I mean, once you're going away forever and there's nothing you can change it, I mean, what, oh well. um, Sean doesn't take my request, but I love him anyway. Yeah. Just a map nailed to the wall says Sean or Joe. Well, I hope you pick me, obviously. Is Branca covering the Aaron Dean case? I assume you talk about Fort Worth. Yeah, I know he was doing it for a while. I think some things have popped up where he's having to switch off with somebody. But yes, Andrew Branca did cover the beginnings of it, and from what I understand, yeah, it was pretty good. It was an interesting presentation of evidence. Yes, Dwayne, the prosecution's rested. 2 days before they were supposed to. So it's being kind of held off till next week. So the defense has time to get ready. And that is kind of a big deal. The defense's witnesses, everything they were ready to do, certainly wasn't expecting 2-day head start. So they're going to take that time and get ready. So that's very helpful for the defense. 2 extra days to get ready. David Davidson said not announcing themselves was department policy. And sure, they're fine. That's a department policy. I don't care. Your policy does not exculpate you in terms of whether or not you're acting lawfully or whether or not somebody else has the right to defend themselves. I think that's a dumb idea if you're prowling around. But, cops have really stupid policies. And yes, police love to hide behind their policies as though they're the Bible. So, and Graham is saying, show me the law. It says you have to announce. There is no law, but to go prowling around in someone's yard with a flashlight and a firearm and do things that a reasonable person would infer, that guy's an up to no good. I'm going to grab a firearm. Well, gee, maybe we should try to avoid friendly fire incidents like this. And besides, oh, well, the bad guy might shoot the cops. Well, it's a good thing the cop's wearing a bulletproof vest and generally has a bunch of friends with him. That's the trade-off. Don't come in here. The cops don't get to say, it's so hard one asterisk to Timbu wine, and then they just start blowing away people that don't deserve it. I mean, you get one or the other. So, yeah, okay, yeah, you guys are talking about it. Yes, cops are held to a lower standard. And Charles Watts saying, they both could have been justified to shoot. Yeah, and that's potentially the issue. Sometimes both people have self-defense. Um, Dead BQ95 saying the open front doors show the house that could have been ransacked. I get that, but here's the thing. It could have been a lot of things. It also could have been a house just with an open front door. The storm door was closed. Uh, you know, you have to, I mean, you're the police. Everything you see can't be the evidence. Oh, well, this could have been that. Well, it could also have been a million other things. The default should be there likely isn't being a crime committed unless I see one. That's how it should work. Stabby saying, you'll be either proud or horrified by what I'm doing. Well, I'll have to check in the Discord. By the way, guys, there is a link to the Discord. There's a link to Rumble. Guys on Twitter, I know with the burner account, we're still going strong. Bronca makes a good point. The state didn't make its case. And if they didn't make its case, then so be it. If they can't prove it, they can't prove it. But, without seeing all the evidence, I will defer that they didn't do a good job. And if they haven't, then yeah. As much as I think Aaron Dean is a scumbag or well, not a scumbag, but he deserves to be held accountable for what he did. If the state can't prove it, then yeah, he gets to walk. That's how the world works. And that's how it should work. If they can't prove it, you get to leave. Oh, Jim is saying that they were following procedures to the letter. They have zero evidence he did anything wrong. They were investigating a burglary in progress at the house. It's fucked up. And I understand that. But when your policies and things are leading to people getting smoked, innocent people, something's wrong and it needs to get fixed. And it's not right. It's unacceptable. And then yeah, once again, well, I follow my company's rules. I work for a toxic sludge company. The toxic sludge company says I got to go dump 5 gallons of it every day into Lake Erie. Well, I'm following company rules. Well, no, at some point you should be like, gee, this sounds like a great way to cause a violent encounter between armed citizens who are trying to be the good guys and the cops. I mean, there should be, putting a Everything Derek Chauvin did was according to policy. That like I said, once again, hiding behind policy should not be an excuse. It's still not right. You still don't get to instigate the situation and then shoot your way out of it. So, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I think Nick might be covering it. I'm not sure who's covering it going forward. So, Slap Murphy saying, except they were called for a possible crime. Okay, possible crime, not probable. Oh, I think somebody's burglarizing the house. How do you know this? Ooh. Okay, fine. Possible crime. All right, well, then do it. But once again, if you're doing it in such a way that innocent people are getting killed, then obviously something's not working. So we shouldn't do it that way. Um, the house looked ransacked. Okay, the house looked ransacked fine. A lot of people like, that's yeah, I'm sure it all supports their narrative now that they smoked that lady. But once again, everything is not you're not, rushing into combat. And they have to remember, wow, there might be good people around and good guys around and good guys with guns. And if we're being all sneaky breaky, people are going to react to that. AD saying, "Hey, what is your favorite pistol caliber?" 9 millimeter. It's been putting people in the dirt for at this point now. Geez, like 112 years. So, oh, yeah. And the amateur iconoclast is saying my apartment looks ransacked, and that's true. Like if you were to come in my office, it looks like it's ransacked. If you guys were to look in the studio right now, you guys are thinking I'm like freebasing crack out of here. So, and Jim, I agree. It's the actual evidence the state has, and if they don't have enough, and if Bronco's been watching it and he says they don't have enough, I'd take his word for it they don't have enough, and if they don't have enough, yeah, that's it. Slap Murphy saying there's an easy solution. Cops don't show up till after everything's over. Nobody dies at the cops' hands that way. The amount of people who actually get robbed, killed, or raped in reality is small. The odds of that happening to you are infinitesimally small, absent a couple of major statistical issues in your life, primarily being your race and where you live. But for the most part, you got better chances of winning the lottery. So that's really not a threat. Like, don't threaten me with a good time. So, all right, guys, we're gonna move on. Uh, this one I forgot to add it. Um, but this is one that's gonna kind of be a circle back to one we covered a couple of weeks ago. If you guys remember, we talked about this where the FBI lied on search warrants and lied about information to go raid a safety deposit box company. And it was the company called Private Vaults. And it was a private storage company where you could come in and rent a safety deposit box, but it was not attached to any bank. And what did they say? Oh, well, my drug dealers are there and they're smuggling money and funds and hiding things away from the government. So we covered this, and when we covered it, it was interesting because this was covering the affidavit, and the police were having to admit, yeah, we kind of lied about some stuff. And the FBI took in millions and millions and millions of dollars, all kinds of property, and people were not able to get them back. They were using asset forfeiture and a number of other things to take money from people. Well, people in charge, the people who were suffering from this, fought back. They filed suit with the government. They challenged what happened. And guess what happened? The judge finds no rights violations in the FBI seizure of the Beverly Hills safety deposit boxes. So, yes, the government determined the government did nothing wrong. Ah, wow. Who could have seen that? So, a federal judge ruled, and this is from September 30th, and this is I apologize for not getting to this, but I do think it's very important because I did not see this, but somebody sent it my way in Discord. A federal judge ruled the FBI seizure of tens of millions of dollars in cash and valuables from 700 safety deposit boxes did not violate anyone's constitutional rights. You know, if the Honorable Judge Gary Klossner had a box there, I'm sure he'd feel differently about it. But once again, the government is very involved and incentivized to protect the government from saying the government did anything wrong. So there were multiple things there, and they were used to seize property without any evidence the owners committed a crime. They took all kinds of crap. They took somebody's remains of their loved one that were in a bag of ashes. The FBI seized all kinds of crap without any evidence anybody committed a crime. Why? Because they lie and they can, and nobody stops them. So there was a class action lawsuit filed by 400 people who were involved in running the boxes against the agents that searched the private vault store. The judge found no impropriety in the way the government obtained or executed the warrants authorizing the 2021 raid, except for the fact that they clearly lied and they made a ton of shit up. Oh, well, they didn't do anything wrong. Once again, the government is going to protect the government. Jim is saying, fuck this shit. This needs to go all the way to the Supreme Court. Yeah, that'd be good, but I don't think this is going to get all the way there. Eric Foam says, "What was in the box? What's in the box?" Oh. Uh, Prima Air saying, "Guilty until your inanimate object proves its innocence." Pretty much, that's the standard. That is the standard. Uh, so the ruling did not address some of the controversial aspects of the raid. The FBI is attempting to confiscate assets from box holders on the presumption they were criminals, even where the agents had no evidence to validate it. So it's nice. Isn't that kind of cool how the judge would be like, I'm not going to address all the sketchy shit. I'm just going to throw it out otherwise. But hey, that's a cool part of being a judge. You can do stuff like that. Prosecutors welcomed the decision. Well, no shit, they did. And I just love this statement. I read this earlier. This ruling demonstrates the actions taken in relation to a business that catered to criminals. Ooh. Were legally authorized, adhered to policy. Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure the one agent admitted, yeah, I kind of lied about stuff, but you know what? Maybe that is FBI and DOJ policy. Given how the past, 5, 6 years have turned out, it sounds like it is. And we're conducted in full compliance with the Constitution. I can't hold on. You hear that? You hear that noise? That's me pressing X to doubt, and I can't press it hard enough. X to doubt. Oh. And of course, this is the spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. Rob Johnson, the attorney for the box holders, vowed to appeal. I hope you do, brother, and I hope you guys win because this was bullshit. Um, yes, this will set a dangerous precedent that will allow the FBI and other law enforcement agencies to bypass the Fourth Amendment. Yes, which bars unreasonable searches and seizures. Now, thankfully, this is only in federal court in California. This isn't to but this appeal will take it to the Ninth Circuit. So, this could have wide ranging effects, especially out in the West. And, once it becomes something in the Ninth Circuit, other police and agencies acting in other circuits will take note and try to justify it. So, is this going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know. Should be interesting, though. Should be interesting. Oh. And as we go back to this, the warrant request omitted a central part of the FBI's plan. They were going to permanently confiscate everything inside any box containing at least $5,000. So they lied about what they were going to do and what their plans were. The FBI's justification for the undisclosed wholesale forfeiture was its assumption that all the customers who rented their boxes were storing assets somehow tied to unknown crimes. And if we remember, we talked about this, where the FBI just said, well, that license plate is from Chicago and a lot of drugs come through Chicago. So, and they've got money here. So that money must be drug money. That was their justification for some of these. Some mighty fine police work, boys. So there's a couple other things here. There were some issues regarding privacy violations. Um, there were all kinds of issues there. But once again, the government's going to protect the government. Um, yay for the government. Yay for the government. Biggest corruption you've been involved with? Well, I mean, participating in the criminal justice system. A lot of people think that's a pretty good example. So, no, but I've seen a lot of corruption, a lot, and stuff I really would rather not. I've had clients get shaken down by political officials before, had been solicited for bribes. We got right up and walked out the damn room when that happened. We're like, nope, we want no part of this. I mean, hell, I thought the guy was wired, but no. I've seen wanton corruption. I've seen political officials and government, people soliciting bribes, engaging in all sorts of corrupt activity. So yeah, I've seen all kinds of sketchy stuff in my time. Bass says they're really giving a good name to our country. Yes. Yes, nothing but the best for America. Zero Signal says cell phone carriers cater to criminals. Yes. Alpha Fox says I'm gonna start putting stacks of paper saying that feds are fags in shady security boxes and just wait. That sounds great, but it's gonna cost you a lot of money just to troll the feds. Stormcrow says if I press X any harder, I'll need a new keyboard. James is saying I thought he was fapping at first. I mean, that's a weird way to fap. Am I using the keyboard? That sounds painful. Sounds painful. Sounds painful. Track Golfer says all money is drug money. And then he says P F I Z E and then R. Sounds like his choice of letters for Wheel of Fortune. I'm not really sure. Maybe it spells something. I don't know. The amateur iconoclast says, yes, Predator missile inbound in 3, 2. Harris Riley saying how much you want to bet the goods are already sold or destroyed and cannot be given back. Well, some people did not bother fighting back. A bunch of people have, so hopefully most of it's still there. But it wouldn't surprise me if stuff is gone. Wouldn't surprise me if stuff is gone. Uh, Captain Chromo says, what would be better is to buy a bunch of movie money, which is funny money. You can buy those from movie warehouses and make sure the feds know you're depositing a whole bunch of it in a deposit box to troll them. I can't condone that, but that would be hilarious. I cannot condone that, like I said, but I hope that would be hilarious. So, last thing tonight, and this one I thought was, well, it's kind of creepy and disgusting, but it is hilarious nonetheless. Is and this is from this is from a radio show called Rover's Morning Glory, but this covers a and there's some commentary we don't need, but this is actually out of the Cleveland area. This is a contractor and he interacts with the customer's dog in a way, and it's very interesting to say the least. So here we go. So there's the contractor, and he finds the dog, and he's like, "Oh, hello, doggo." And yes, he is, and we'll let this run. He is trying to get the dog to yeah. He's trying to get the dog to trying to get the dog to mount him. Yes. Zero signal. Oh no. Oh no. So he keeps going, trying to get the dog, and the dog's just like, "Hey man, you want to play?" Oh, and then yeah, he starts red rocketing the dog. And yeah, this keeps going and keeps going, and notice what happens. The guy's like, "Uh-oh, the camera caught me. I better put the camera up." And then, "Oh, we're just going to walk out." And then, "Oh, we're just walking out. Oh, no, no big deals. Do 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 do. Do ba do ba do boop boop boo doo." And they're the police once that got caught. Um yeah. I wonder how long I don't know how that's going to go with YouTube. We'll find out. Maybe I'll get a strike. I'm not sure. So, yes, Captain Chroma. Oh, loud. Oh, loud. Jonathan says, LOL, demonetized. Yeah, well, I've sworn a little bit already, so that won't happen. James, yep, he says, oh, he ain't, yeah, he ain't, nope, he ain't trying to poop. Jim is saying he gets the wall too. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Brent. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alpha Fox is like, I have that same tower fan. I think I've had that one before too. I had it a long time ago, but yeah, I had that same tower fan as well. Patty saying, leave the poor dog alone. Sleazy says, what in the blueberry fuck muffins? Yeah. Yes. The amateur iconoclast. This bravo. I love this. I love this comment. I guess it's not only the white girls who fuck dogs. Yes, apparently not. Meat Candy saying enjoy the week strikecation. I I don't know. We'll see. If it happens, it happens. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. Although, hey, it's been a couple of months since I had a strike, so Petty saying, did he harm the dog? No, he didn't harm the dog. The dog appears to be okay, but yes, he was charged. The police are getting involved. Sheeple Hunter saying, what did I walk into? You walked into my personal hell that I've built all by myself. Fernando saying he blamed the dog. Bass is saying, yes. Yes, my video will get recommended. Yes, my video will get recommended. I'll be trending, given yes, how YouTube feels about this stuff. Lizbot says, oh sweet Jesus. Sheeple Hunter says, had he done this before? I don't know, but a lot of people do. If you're, a contractor, if you do home stuff, people are filming more and more and more to make sure nothing happens. So, yeah, he could have done that before, maybe in this house, but I'm sure he's done it before with other dogs. But yes, guys, in case you're wondering, that is generally illegal pretty much everywhere you go. You are not allowed to abuse companion animals, and bestiality or zoality, whatever you want to call it, is generally a crime in most states. So do not engage in it. Number one, it's illegal. Number two, it's disgusting. So that's the crime tie-in, educational wise. Plea was saying that slutty, slutty dog. I know. Oh, yeah, it's a crying shame. This is a good point. Maybe he's like those military folks that have like pup self. Yeah, if he identifies as a pup or identifies as like an otherkin, then it's perfectly normal for him to have relations with a dog. Jessica Reloaded saying, when are we gonna do another stream together? Uh, Give it another week or so. Once I get things kind of cleared up, I'll have a lot more free time. But yeah, I'll stop by again soon. Yeah, Andrew's saying they did interview the woman whose house it happened at. Yes, I listened to the whole thing and it's hilarious, but I didn't want to. There's too much commentary. I just the video enough. The video enough answers things there. So yeah. Examoon says my dog is smart and would bite the contractor's taint. Oh. Pleb is saying most. Where is it not? I I can't assume it's illegal everywhere. I mean, it's America. There's all kinds of things that are legal in one state or another that everywhere else says you can't do. So I would presume it's illegal everywhere, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's not. I mean, technically in Ohio, for a long time, it wasn't actually a law. So bestiality was legal in Ohio for quite a while. And then there was an issue with the way it was worded that for a while, even with the bestiality law in place, part of the state, it was not a crime till things got repassed in the legislature. So, like in Ohio, for a very long time, that was the case. Not anymore. Since I crossed the Rubicon, you might as well talk about the Project Veritas video about the dean in Chicago. Yeah, he was given. They talked about giving 8-year-olds dildos, butt plugs, and lube. Yeah, I saw that, and he says, the parents will cheer it on because they're idiots. Yeah, that was creepy as hell. Though. That was a creepy one to listen to. But hey, they're saying the quiet parts out loud, and nothing but love for Project Veritas. They're doing God's work. And also, yes, those are people, that's a great thing about the wall. There's always space. There's always a rotating vacancy. So, Alpha Fox saying, don't say which states, don't say which states, don't say which states. AD is saying, how is in rem jurisdiction a thing? Oh, God. We're getting in rem jurisdiction and God, we're going back to civil procedure. Oh, I hated that class. Why? Because the courts decided it was going to be a jurisdictional way to do things. That's how. But thank you for the super chat. We can that would be a great one to have Kurt on because we can actually talk about that in depth. But I mean, it's the court created the doctrine, so that's my the pie case says chunk yogurt from the Young Turks when he's not denying the Armenian genocide. Um, apparently he's down with pleasuring animals. I did not know that, but wouldn't surprise me. A lot of those commies like humping horses or getting humped by horses. Like Chank, Fosh. Hey. So, have you checked out Fed now? The amateur iconoclast says, did a guy in Washington get killed by a horse? Yes, he did, Mr. Hands. Yes, a horse mounted him and got a little too excited and caused him multiple internal injuries. He was, obviously he felt like he couldn't go to the hospital because he would get found out, and he died because of his injuries. But yes, a horse went up there and went up in his guts, literally. So, Fox does now do quasi in rem. Fuck you. Nope, we're not doing that. Oh. Oh, Shank City wasn't a bestiality? Guess that makes sense for who we're talking about. Check Discord DMs for the Shank clip. Oh. Let's see here. What do we got? You know what? Shank likes to. Well, we're gonna have to listen to this. We're gonna have to listen to Chunk Yogurt here. We'll turn this up. We'll put this down a little bit. Let's see what Chunk says.
I believe that I am going. If I were the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are giving, you are pleasuring the animal. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Now why? Why did that happen? It's the dumbest thing I've said.
It really is the dumbest thing you said.
No, I'll tell you why.
He said a lot dumber stuff. I know this is an old clip. He said a lot dumber stuff in the meantime.
Because there's was the case that we covered where there was a guy or a girl or something that was pleasuring a horse, and the horse came to a conclusion, right? So who got harmed?
You know that people who are okay, look, not to be
okay, yeah, great, yeah. More, thanks, Anna. Just keep letting him deny the Armenian genocide. I'm sure that's great. Great for your soul at the end of the night. So even Anna isn't having it. Well, if it was an Armenian horse, she would have it. Pike is saying, wow, Anna looks terrible there. She ever looked good? mean, she usually looks pretty rough usually. What is wrong with people? It's the fact we're people. It's the fact we're people. Um, Lizbots for $4.99. Thank you. Says to wash my soul clean. Perhaps that I'm giving $4.99 today will lead to something about my whatever. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Liz. I didn't mean to put you in this position today, but thank you for the super chat. Um, Zero Fox saying the older Anna gets, the more ethnically Armenian she looks. Now she's gonna sell me a rug. Jeez. You guys. You guys, come on now. You guys, come on now. You guys are something else. Harris Riley saying, "Did you hear about the Canadian athlete that asked for a stair lift? Yeah, she wanted a wheelchair lift, wheelchair elevator, and she couldn't get one. And the Canadian government asked her if she would like to Roblox herself or have help doing it. Yes, and it's funny because that person was a Paralympic athlete in Canada. Yes, that is what happens when you start running out of things. It's easier to ration that out, and then eventually it's going to become a program. There's other people have tried this program. It's called Action T4. After a while, they take care of people and they euthanize them. But yes, that is insane to hear. But you shouldn't be too surprised. It's only going to get worse up there. Track Golfer says, "I appreciate you sharing what America's about." Hey, that's what Thomas Jefferson was fighting for. When those men hit the beaches in Normandy, they were thinking, I want to make sure my son can have sex with animals, you know. You know, a country where you can't do that. That's an America I don't want to live in. Where I could smoke my weed next to my gay neighbors who own machine guns while the guy across the street is having sex with an animal. That's my America. That's God's country. That's the city on a hill we're all striving for. Plebe says they have sex with goats in Afghanistan. They do that in a lot of places. They do that in a lot of places with goats and sheep. Uh, James says, "Are you running in Georgia?" No. No. And guys, I think Alpha Fox is saying, "I had a dream that one day white women will do what? Oh, yes, I know what they'll do. They'll fuck dogs. White women fuck dogs." Oh. Uh, Hold on. Where did I see this? Sheeple Hunter says, "I haven't been to a church in 20 years, but now I might need to go after watching." Yeah, yeah. Hey, that's the internet for you. That is the internet for you. So, all right, we're gonna wrap this up here, guys. I still got some stuff I got to do for the rest of the week. Get ready for next week. Should be fun. Fingers crossed we can avoid some issues and resolve the matters, and we can get back to having fun. But if not, it's going to be a long week. He said they even have a cute name for it in Canada. They call it Maid. device, medical assistance, and dying. Whew. Hey, governments are good. Governments are good at the slogans. They church everything up. Crying Shame says, "When are you running for office?" At some point I always thought that'd be interesting, but I'm not. I don't know. I've it's politics are fun when you're involved in it, but you're not. When you're kind of involved in like the stuff going on off to the periphery of what's there, you can have a lot of fun doing that too. So I don't know. Some point maybe, but not for a while. Not for a while still. Uh, Captain Chromo for $5 says New Zealanders invented the sheep intestine condom. The Australians were the first to remove the intestines before they used it. Yes. Yes. There's a lot of stories about New Zealand men lonely on a hillside somewhere with a herd of sheep. Many a story. So guys, LPD, don't watch the stream. Be Catholic. I don't know about being Catholic is going to do much here. Saying, is that my end goal to be in office? I don't think so. I mean, I think it would be interesting to run for office. I mean, I don't even know what I'd run for at this point yet. But I mean, like my dad ran for school board and won, and he did it, and that was good enough. He didn't do it again after that. I mean, do I think I'd want to be a judge? I don't know. Would I want to be like a prosecutor or a DA? Definitely not. But maybe I'd run for school board. Maybe I'd run for my local city government. Maybe I would run for judge. Maybe I'd run for state representative. I don't know. Do I think I'd want to make a career out of it? I really wouldn't want to. But that's something where I think you just do it, go into it thinking, doing your best to make the world a better place and let things go from there. So, oh my God, you guys, I'm not highlighting some of these sheeple. No, we're not doing that. Actually, okay, fine. Well, yes. Sheeple Hunter says, "What's a condom?" Don't worry, your mom doesn't know what they are either. Oh, oh! Quote the great Dice Clay. Yes, Judge Sean at 6 p.m. on USA. Well, hey, that's better than just being on Court TV. That's more coverage. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for everybody who's been here. Everybody liked, subscribed, commented, just showed up and viewed. If you gave me a thumbs down, hey, that helps too, because that still feeds the algorithm. Guys, if you have anything you want to talk about for next week, throw it down in here, or if you want to hold on to it till I put up for next week, talk about it as well, or you can shoot me an email with it. Also, thank you to everybody who sent a super chat. I always appreciate it. Everybody on Rumble, thanks for watching. Everybody on Twitter, thanks for watching. And remember, until next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Good night, everybody.